Good afternoon. My name is Honeycutt, assistant baseball coach here at Lander University. I work with the catchers. I played for 5 years at Marshall University up in the mountains of North Carolina. Got to work with a lot of good people and good instructors. So a bunch of things that I like to teach, I was taught from people before me. The main person that I worked with before would be Marty Reed, who's now the bullpen coach for the Atlanta Braves. He worked around pitchers and catchers. That's what he does for a living, so I was fortunate enough to work with him. And I'll just kind of dive right into it. So today, I'm going to kind of run through some basic things that I look for in a catcher whenever I go recruiting or I work at camp. The first thing I like to get into is setup in a catcher. That's kind of the foundation, the building block for what a catcher does in all things. Everything in sports kind of works from the ground up, and this is the base layer of that, is the setup. So you have 3 different types of setups that I look for in a catcher. The first one is signs. The second one is no one on base or less than 2 strikes on a batter. And the third one is 2 strikes on the batter or there's someone on base. And the first things that I look for a lot is posture, where the feet are, where the knees are, and where the face is, or the mask. So I'll kind of just dive right into it and give some examples. Things I look for when I give signs is a tall chest with good posture, right? With a flat back is what I like to say, and my knees close together. The only person that I want to see my signs are the middle infielders and the pitcher. I love to have my signs against my cup, and I want to have my chest back. So in dimly lit stadiums, the light is in and the pitcher can see my signs well. I like to have a good posture, a glove in a comfortable position, wherever's comfortable for you, and then the back flat. Again, that's one of the most important things. The things I like to talk to my catchers about is that the back being tall and a tall chest is about effort. So if I go out and I'm recruiting and I see a catcher who right away has really good posture giving signs, as soon as I walk in the gate, I know that catcher has some sort of a clue of what he's doing and that he's been worked with someone who has higher knowledge, or maybe he's just really, really lucky, but still it's a huge cue for me. Because if it takes this much more effort with a tall back every time to give a sign, then he's going to put that much more effort into everything else he does, not just give signs. So again, the first stage 1 is you have the tall chest, the sign setup. You have the tall chest, knees close together, my hand slightly inside of my thighs, my numbers against my cup, hand comfortable. That's the first setup. The second setup is no one on base or less than 2 strikes on the batter. And the big thing for this stage 2 is to be comfortable and to be able to catch this ball and represent balls and strikes very well. The first thing that I was taught growing up being a catcher was that you keep strikes, and you leave balls. The pitches you move or you try to represent well are balls close to the zone. One thing, like I said, is comfort in this stage 2. You want to be as comfortable as you can and be able to move as much as you can, or as little as you can, or to the ball as efficiently as possible. Some people in stage 2 like to get onto a knee because it's very comfortable and it's low to the ground. Some people like to sit back deep. I'm not a big fan of that. In stage 2, like in stage 1 giving signs, I like to have a tall back. In this one, I like to have a flat back, a flatter back, a good angle of my back. So when I squat down, I'm closer to the ground. What the angle of the back allows is my chin to be closer to the ground. The Houston Astros were the first to kind of get into the analyticals of catching. And what they found is that a smaller catcher in size and stature will tend to get the bottom of the zone called more strike, balls called strike. And that's a big issue, and that's a big focal point of main catchers and catching coaches is trying to get the bottom pitch called strike. Because pitchers want to live down, they want to get that pitch at the bottom of the zone because that is the most often ball called strike. Also, you have the balls in the corners. And get in that stage, it's important to try and get those pitches that are close borderline. If it's a ball way off the plate, you leave it. You leave balls, and keep strikes. Second thing is, when digging into the analyticals of catching, what the Astros and numbers guys have found is that the closer my face is to the ground, the closer my face is to the ground, the more likely I am to get that pitch. But also, the more close the relationship of the glove to the mask is, the more likely I'm going to have a called strike. So anytime a catcher sets up behind the plate, whether they're sitting tall or they're sitting close to the ground, if they catch in a good relationship to the face, umpire's going to call strike 1 right away because he sees the catcher called it nonchalantly, right in his face, it has to be a strike. So in this whole study, this is taught that the better angle of your back is, the closer I am to the ground, and the more closely I can catch it towards my face, the more I can work towards my face, the more likely I am to get a called strike. The second reason I like to be low to the ground, I like to have that flat back, the chin close to the ground, is so I can work up to the pitch. In the past, in the early 90s, what was really, really popular being taught is this kind of funnel system, everything bringing in. But what they found is that umpires do not believe what they see in that. They know that the catcher is bringing it straight up, and the perception that this gives is this pitch is making a V. So the pitch is coming down from the pitcher. We know every pitch thrown to the catcher is downhill, no matter if it's a curveball, fastball, changeup, slider, everything is downhill. So if I'm catching a ball and bringing it straight up, it's giving the representation that it's making a straight V, and there's no pitch that does that. So instead, one thing that's been kind of moved forward is working up to this pitch to get that called strike, to move this pitch on my way up, as some people would say it. So instead of it sitting deep back in this crouch deep down in here and just trying to catch everything like this close to my body, what I like to do is have the flat chest and work up to the pitch. Just keeping my face as low as I can, keeping my glove down and working up to the pitch, and I move it on the way up. And then you have the final stage, stage 3, which is 2 strikes on the batter or a base runner on. In this stage, the most important thing is that we block a ball. You want to be able to catch a ball well and block a ball. I was once told a catcher does 3 things. He catches the ball, he blocks the ball, then he throws the ball. So in this stage, that's the main focal point. You want to be where you can catch, you want to be where you can throw, and you want to be able to block. You make sure in this stage that you keep the ball in front of you, that the runners don't advance, and that you can catch and receive the ball best. In this stage, what I really look for is a wide base, again a flat back close to the ground, and a glove low that I can work up to. There's a lot of different ways to catch and to block, but anytime I can be in a ready position to go forward, I try to, because that's the direction that I want to do. I want to block everything in front of me. I want to throw and catch everything in front of me. Again, I want to keep the glove down so I can work up to the pitch, but I also want to be in a position where I can block. I can roll my hips or kick out and block. Same thing at stage 2, receiving wise, I want to try and work up to my face instead of this deep sit and pull like this. And then I want to be in a position where if a runner goes, I can get ready and throw. So Chuck's here, going to demonstrate for me, run through a few drills, mainly talk about receiving, because like I said, catchers do 3 things. They catch it, they block it, then they throw it. The most important thing they do first is they catch it. They catch more than they block more than they throw, they do all those things in that order. So the thing you do most is catch, so that's the thing I mainly try to focus on is drills working with our hands for our catcher. As you can see Chuck here, he's in stage 2. He's comfortable, he's in a low position, and he can work up to the ball right here. Everything we'd like to do in drill work, I really focus on a few cues, and one that I really like is that I want to have my ball hit me in the stopper, the palm, the pad of my pointer fingers where I want to catch the ball. This limits movement in the glove, and this allows me to dictate the ball instead of the ball dictate what I do. A bunch of times if I'm catching it here, or here, or here, I have very little control. If I catch it here, my hand controls the ball. And after a while, the reason people don't like catching it here is because it hurts. But after a while, you get used to it like anything, like any pain put into your body, like lifting weights and things like that. After a while, you get used to it. So another cue I like to use besides stopping it on the stopper right here is to feel the ball come through my glove, almost like it's rolling through these fingers, and then bam, I stop it right there. I like to do a lot of flips and concentrate bare hand flips where it's coming through my hand. I feel it almost like graze through these fingers and then stop right there. Boom, boom. That's one thing that I really like. So what we're going to do with Chuck first is I'm going to have him start with some drills where he's flipping it to himself, concentrating on each finger, and really understanding where I'm catching this ball. Like this. He's just going to flip to himself. Move back and forth. And then from there, I'm going to work to flips. I'm going to gently flip, and he's going to do the exact same thing to really concentrate on where that is. And then I'll go into flipping it and have him feel it kind of roll through his hand, and then bam, stop right there on the stopper. So I'll just flip, and then catch right there, catch right there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'll back up a little bit, and I'm going to simulate a flip to him. So I'm going to come back like this. He'll relax his hand, and when I come up, he's going to catch it like that. So right off the bat, just to kind of get loose. So what's important here is not that he catches every ball. It's important that he really feels the ball kind of roll through his hand right there, just like that. And he's in rhythm. You can see his hand whenever my arm comes back. his hand really focuses, and bam, goes right to it. That's really important with rhythm of the pitch, rhythm of the pitcher. Good, we'll do like 2 more. 1 more. It's good, it's very nice. And you can really see right there, you can really see right there how the ball is coming in through. He's really letting these fingers relax. It's kind of rolling through his hand, and then bam, stopping right there on the pointer finger, on the pad of the pointer finger, right there. Right there is where he's stopping that ball. That's really nice. I'll let you flip it to yourself. So now he's going to flip. He's going to sit here very gently and flip and work from finger to finger. A little bit of hand awareness about where I'm catching that on my hand. Working through where I'm catching it here, 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 and here. Go ahead. Just kind of keep working through it. There it is. Good. So as you watch him, and I'll talk through it a little bit, what this really teaches me to do is where I correctly catch it. A bunch of times I can get away with misses. So whenever I miscatch a ball in the inside part of my hand, I can still catch and represent it well. But I also want to know what that feels like. Vice versa, I want to know where it feels like when I miss in the pocket and I don't catch it on my pointer finger. I want to know that I can catch it here and still move it. But obviously the goal and objective is to not miss and to catch it on the pointer finger. If I'm trying to catch the ball in the pocket of my glove and I miss, I drop the ball. So what's really important is I know where my finger is, I know where a miss feels like, and I can still dictate that ball and work with it. Last drill we'll kind of go through and do right here is now it's me. I'm going to subtly flip it to him 5 times, and he's going to work, catching it on his pointer finger, his middle finger, his ring finger, then his pinky. And it's not important that he catches every ball. What's important, like I said, is that he has the feel to know where it is and what those misses feel like. Very nice. And we're going to go 5, okay? Ready, Chuck? 1, 2, it's okay. Good. Go back through, pointer finger. Nice. Very nice. Good. Very nice. 1 more. Very nice. And you can see right there, just in those little short flips, he definitely made an adjustment where he could really start to feel where I'm catching it on each finger right there. That's really good. That's really important as a catcher to know where you catch it. That's it.